Okay, we are coming up on 1 p.m. Central Time. My name is Armani Rice. I will be your conductor for the iBusiness Banking webinar. Thank you all for your time and patience. Your hub for any business conversion information will be www.wintrust.com/business conversion. Please use this available chat option for any questions during this webinar. During this webinar, we will go over the following topics: your login credentials, administration, your reports tab, the ACH origination service, online wire origination, and any fraud prevention and positive pay services. We are in the midst of the preview period for iBusiness Banking. You should have received your Welcome to iBusiness Banking letter, which is containing all of your login credentials. You will have your company ID, your user ID, which will be the same from your Macatawa account. However, if you had special characters in that user ID, those are no longer a part of your user ID. Uh, that will be explained in more detail a bit later. During this preview period, while you have access to iBusiness Banking, you do have the availability to make changes, but they will not reflect in the iBusiness Banking platform until after the go live date of April 28th. Once you are in the iBusiness Banking platform and you have changed your temporary password that is on your Welcome to iBusiness Banking letter, you will be presented with the terms and conditions. You will need to agree to those and hit continue. You will also be presented with a required update, which will have you validate your email address and phone number. If you need to change that at any time, you can do so during this required update. There are edit options next to your information. Now, again, once you have your login information from your welcome letter, you will need to navigate to your bank, branch, or charter website. There's a login option on the right side of the page. Once you select that, you will click the drop-down menu. And of the available options, you will go to iBusiness Banking under Business or Other Logins. It will take you directly to the iBusiness Banking login page. Again, your company ID will be on your Welcome to iBusiness Banking letter. And your user ID should be the same as your Macatawa account. However, if you had special characters as far as a period or slash or an @ sign or anything of that nature, that has been removed from your Macatawa user ID. And your user ID has been truncated. Again, if your user ID had any special characters containing in it, as far as an @ sign, a pound sign, $sign, anything of that nature, it has now been truncated, and those have been removed from your user ID. Please verify both these pieces of information before you hit continue. Once you do so, you will be prompted for a one-time code as well. You will verify that information, and you will continue through. Once you are presented with the password, you will use the temporary password that is a part of your login information on your Welcome to iBusiness Banking letter. That password is temporary, so the moment that you hit sign in, you will be presented to reset your password. Your new password must contain the requirements that are in between both boxes, where you will enter your new password and confirm that. Once you begin to choose a new password, the requirements will begin to highlight green and check off when you have met those. When you've successfully reset your password, you will be able to hit continue, and you will be taken to your i-BusinessBanking dashboard. Again, prior to fully logging into the i-BusinessBanking platform and being brought to this dashboard, you will have to agree to the terms and agreements and go through the required update, verifying your email address and phone number. Once you are on your i-BusinessBanking dashboard, you will have the opportunity to alter this dashboard however you see fit. For example, important account balances is generally my favorite tab with i-BusinessBanking. It gives you the availability to see your balance right away. And if you need to, you can click directly into these sections to gather your transaction information. If you would like to move these tiles around and make this section more present, as soon as you log into i-BusinessBanking, you have the availability to do that as well. Under this display options gear icon, you have the ability to move these sections around. So if I truly do want important account balances up a bit further, it will allow you to click it and drag and drop and move that section to the forefront. You can hit save, and now all of your important account balances are on your left. The available tiles also give you edit options as well. If you wanted to use a balance snapshot, you can hit the edit icon in that tile, and it allows you to bring in any of the information that you like. The best way to navigate the i-BusinessBanking platform is the top blue ribbon at the page. You have your welcome option, reports, money movement, account services, and administration. The first tab that we're going to go over is the administration tab. If you have any questions, please use the available chat option and they will be answered accordingly. The first available option under administration is communications. This will give you a review of all of the automated email alerts that will be sent to your i-BusinessBanking platform and your email address. You will receive fraud prevention emails along with reminders, any password changes, holiday processing, or anything that may be going on at the bank. You also have the available option to manage your alerts in this communication section under administration. You have four type of available alerts, and these are only affecting your i-BusinessBanking platform. You have accounts, a non-account alerts, multiple account alerts, or custom alerts, which are available to you at your leisure. And again, you are only affecting your own alerts. If you happen to have additional users that have access to your i-BusinessBanking platform, they will have the ability to set all of their own alerts individually. On this account alert page, it will allow you to pull into focus whichever account that you would like to activate the alerts for and give you a list of the active alerts along with the available alerts as you scroll down the page. If you would like to activate one of the available alerts, you want to hit the plus sign to the far right of the page, select your email address, and hit the add option. It does move the alert that you activated to the top of that active page. If you want to continue adding available alerts, you will just continue that process with the plus sign on the right, checking your email and hitting the add option. If you would like to alter or deactivate a specific alert, you do have the option to do so. Over on the right, there are edit options that look like pieces of paper with a pencil. But please be wary if you try to turn off a specific alert, it may be mandatory to iBusiness Banking. It will not allow you to turn that one off. You do have the option to receive a text message instead of the email alert. You do want to verify your contact information again during that required update. If you would prefer that mobile alert, you do want to activate that. You can use this contact us option to get a hold of our treasury management support team. It will allow you to formulate an email like message in this section, and this message will go over to that support team. If it is not a login issue and you have a question about iBusiness Banking in general, you are more than welcome to use this particular section. Please be wary that all response times vary from 48 to 72 hours. Any response that you get from that will be under this sent mail tab. You'll have the option to view that here. If you need more immediate help and would not like to use this contact us section, please reach out to our Treasury support line at 616 494 1455. Again, that Treasury Management support line is 616 494 1455. This Forms and Documents tab also gives you the availability to download user guides. If you have any additional users that you're giving access to iBusiness Banking or any frequently asked questions, you do have the availability to select those and then download those in a PDF format. The second option under administration is available to administrators of the iBusiness Banking platform only. Any sub user will not have access to this available option. Company administration allows you to create new users or manage any of your existing users. This will be the section where you will go to dictate what that specific user that's logging into your iBusiness Banking platform to view your bank information has access to. If you would allow, if you would like them to have access to something like bill pay or any ACH function or any account reviewing purpose, this will be the section that you go to set all of that up. There are edit buttons next to each section for that particular user. If you need to create a new user, the pieces of information that you will need from that individual are their first name, their last name, an email address, and a phone number. Because you will likely be prompted with a one-time security code at login, you do want to put the most available phone number for the user that you're creating. A mobile number does work, so they can receive the one-time code via a text message versus receiving a phone call. As you create a new user, you will have the availability to copy an existing user on the next page. For example, If I was creating a new user and I want them set up just like I am, during that process, after you have entered their first name, last name, have created a user ID and a temporary password for them, it will allow you to copy that existing user. So you can set them up the exact same way that I am or any other additional user that is already existing. The administrators will also have access under administration and company administration for account information. If you need the full routing and account number, you will have that under this available account information slot. Again, the administrators are the only people that have access to this specific section. Any sub-user that you create without that administration role will not have access to view the full routing and account number. Administrators also have access to see their approval settings under this page and manage them as well. If you would like any additional approvals with transactions that are going out, as far as any ACH or wire transactions, if you want somewhat of a dual approval setting where it always takes two users, you can come to this section and manage that. You have a user setup report as well. If you would like access to a detailed report of any new user setup and what access they have recently gained. You also have an invalid login report to see if there are any invalid attempts or any fraudulent attempts on your actual iBusiness banking platform as well. The third option under administration is self-administration, which all sub-users will have access to as well. And it will give you access to change your password one time a day on this particular page. If you would, if you have used this and need to change your password again, which is totally okay, you do want to reach out to 616-494-1455. You also have the access to update your email address and phone number again on this page if necessary under personal preferences. There are edit buttons next to existing information, and there are also plus signs inside of circles where you can add additional information. The user activity report is an overall audit, so you can see every single step that has been taken in iBusiness banking for up to 18 months. You can do all users, or you can even do specific users. And also you have your date or date range. One quick tip when you are searching here, it will not let you search the entire 18 months at once if you decide to do that. You will need to cut this into 3-month increments. So every quarter kind of, it will allow you to search that range of information. It will almost pull up 3 months at a time. But again, you do have up to 18 months to see that information with this full on audit for the user activity report. And it does mention that in this message here as well. The last option under administration, if your iBusiness banking platform has this function available, is service administration, and that brings up the positive pay settings, which we will get into very much, or which we will get into later in this webinar. Second section we're going to go over up top along this blue ribbon is reports. This will be how you gather all of your transaction information. Now you will likely see one of three options under this reports tab. It will likely say accounts, deposit account reporting, or deposit reports. All three of those functions do the same thing. That is just where you would go to in order to gather your transaction information. It will allow you to gather a search criteria report based on the information that you actually need. For example, under deposit account reporting, if you happen to need your transactions in a different format versus them just showing on the screen, iBusiness Banking does give you the access to change how those transactions are given to you. If you need them in a CSV file, a PDF file, a QuickBooks file, or even a Quicken file, you have the access to generate that directly from the iBusiness Banking platform in the event you're using an accounting software. If you are not, it does default to the screen option, and then it will allow you to select the rest of the search criteria. You can pick on one specific account if needed, or you can pick on all accounts. You do have a date range or a specific date that you can search by, along with the previous business day, or if you happen to be using the function where you are downloading files with the transaction information in it, you can even search since the last download date. While we are on the topic of your information for your transactions, it does currently default to say up to 3 months. Again, this is during that preview period for you all. You will have access to your transaction history from January 1st of 2025. That is importing directly into your iBusiness banking platform from your Macatawa system. Going beyond that preview period, you will also have access going up to 18 months going forward. You can get as specific as you like with the search functions as well. There is a show advanced options. If you're looking for transaction information that is a specific amount or a range of amounts, you can even search by that. You can search by a check serial number or a range of check serial numbers as well, or even a description if you have a description of a certain transaction that you're looking for. Once you have entered your search criteria, you'll hit the blue search option in the bottom left corner. It will bring in all of your transaction information and allow you to select uh, what it is that you need. My criteria is probably messed up because I did do, again, additional information. Let me go clear that. And there we are. That looks a lot better. The transaction information will show here along with your calculating balance. If you have any checks that are clearing the actual business accounts, there is an image section as well. It drops almost like a little rectangle with a little image on it and allow you to pull up that check front and back. The balances section will just trim that report down, if you will, and show you strictly the balances versus all of the transaction history. You can switch it to activities and balances where we'll read both, and it's just more of a different styled report. You can even forecast your balance or save any search. The save search function is pretty usable as well, or pretty feasible to use as well. If in the event you are searching your transaction history for a specific date range, once you hit search, you do have the availability towards the top of that search result for saving this particular report. Once you've done that, you've titled it, it does give you the option again for date range. When you save this report, you will get that nice message that it was saved successfully. What that then does is on your welcome page, over on the right side, you can access that saved report. So again, just kind of another quick way to get to your transaction history right from your welcome page versus using this report section where you can detail out the specific function that you like. Again, deposit report does the same thing. It just has less functions along this tab line here. Third option under reports, if your iBusiness banking platform has this function available, is the ACH option. We'll get into initiating ACH transactions shortly. Uh, but for this particular report section in ACH, you will have the availability of two reports that generate automated emails when they happen. If you have generated an ACH transaction using the iBusiness banking platform and that transaction has been returned, you will get a detailed returned ACH transaction notice, which is just a standardized email. You log into iBusiness banking, go to reports in ACH, and it will detail out why that ACH transaction got returned. And you have the availability to work with the recipient to send those funds or make sure that that transaction goes through. Notice of change will do the same thing. You will get an automated email. However, this particular report is letting you know that the funds did arrive at their destination from you initiating this ACH transaction. However, before you continue to initiate ACH transactions to this recipient, uh, something is changing with them. So it could be a routing number if they are being bought out. It can be a first or last name if they've just gotten married, or if the business has gone through a name change. This notice of change report will detail out all of that information for you. If you happen to get one of these particular reports, just log into iBusiness Banking, go to report ACH, notice of change, and follow the prompts on this page. iBusiness Banking will likely coast you through making the change that it's alerting you about. So you won't have to go back with homework or do any copying and pasting. If you have any loans available in your iBusiness banking platform, you will have the access to view reports based on that information as well. It does default you right to searching just your loan balances versus kind of the transactions going through your loans to see payments and things of that nature. Uh, Please have no fear. You just have to go over to the manage loans option, which is right next to this word balances towards the top of the page. You want to show all notes, or you can click on the specific loan that you're looking for with these specific arrows. And there are three dots over to the very far right side. When you hit those three dots, you have the availability to pull more reports as far as a payment and advance history or any activity report versus just seeing the balance where iBusiness banking kind of drops you when you hit reports and loans. You will have the availability for an incoming wire report as well. So any wire that has been sent over into your actual business account, you will have the availability to download a specific report and view all of the information that was sent over with that wire. You will have access to a statements and documents section as well. During this preview period, it will likely not look as pretty as it does at the moment, where it's allowing you to search through your statements and documents. You may see a different message here, but again, it will not likely go live until April 28th. So even in the event that you do see this pretty screen, and let's say you want to set up e-statements, you have the availability to set up electronic statements right from the iBusiness banking platform. You will go to this reports, statements, and documents section. And you want to click on this view and maintain document preferences option here. It will allow you to change how your statement is delivered to you. You can change it from paper to online. You will have to scroll down and hit the continue option on the bottom of the page to finish off the actual process for enrolling in e-statements. You will likely see your accounts as well listed twice. One line is for the actual statement, one line is for any notice that is required to be sent to your actual account. You can change those from paper to online as well. You will hit the continue option and then again hit save preferences after agreeing to the terms and agreements. But again, this is likely not something that you can do and it will hold until after April 28th. The last option under reports is return checks. Any check that has been deposited into your actual account that is now quote unquote being bounced or returned, iBusiness Banking has its own section for those as well. It will not separate it out from any of your transaction history. So if you happen to use deposit account reporting or accounts or deposit reports, as I mentioned before, you will still see those return checks in that information as well. But iBusiness Banking thought it would be nice to set up this section, and you have the availability to turn on an alert for this particular section. I do want to take some time here for just a quick break for just 60 seconds. Uh, that's a lot of information. So we do want to relay that you can use the available chat option during this webinar to get any question answered that we can accordingly. But we're going to take a brief 60 seconds and we will be right back to go over your money movement services with iBusiness Banking and any fraud prevention services that we have. Okay, so that is the 60-second break here. Again, please use the available chat option for any questions and we will answer them accordingly. To continue through the webinar, we will now go over the money movement services. Very first option that you will see under money movement is schedule request. This particular tab will show any schedule request that you have set up as far as an internal transfer or any outgoing or external money movement that you also have set up for future dates. This page is also great because it will show your available approvals on those said transactions. So over to the very far right on this page, I know it currently says I do not have any, but it will read your transactions along this line. And to the far, far right, it will also show if it has all of its necessary approvals to go all of the way out. Transfer money is how you're going to move money internally between your business accounts. So if you have to move money from a money market account or some form of a savings account to your actual transactional account, you have the availability to do so. There is no amount limit with these internal transfers with money movement and transfer money. As long as the funds are available in the account, you will have the option to move that amount. You do have the option to set a description with that specific transfer. And if it's something that should be reoccurring, you have the availability to change the frequency. It does default here right above that continue button to today only. But if this is an internal transfer that needs to go out weekly, every other week, monthly, something of that nature, you do have the available options here. If you have multiple accounts, you can use this multiple account transfer option to get more than one transfer done at once between multiple accounts. So let's say I want to move money from one account to four of my other accounts. You can create a template. This template name can be something that you're specific with. You can send money. This will be my main account that I'm pulling those funds from. And then I have the option to set up additional accounts. That way, you don't have to go one by one with these transfers. You can actually just get more than one transfer done at one time. History will be available through most of your actual money movement services. You will see this tab a lot, which will just give you detailed reports of the completed transfers that you have made, whether they be internal, any ACH transfer, or any wire transfer. You do have a loan option under money movement as well. Again, this does just take you more to the reporting side of your actual loan. You do have the availability to uh, send advances if your iBusiness banking has that capability as well, or make payments. You will use those three dots on the right after hitting show all notes or clicking on the specific arrow next to the loan that you want to do the transaction with. Hit those three dots to the right, and then it gives you those options. You also have a bill pay option under money movement. Bill pay is a service that will send a transaction off on your behalf. It will either likely send a check transaction or it will send an electronic transaction. If you are currently using the bill pay service with your Macatawa system, your payees will travel over into this new bill pay system as well. Again, you have the access to add payees on this bill pay platform during the preview period. None of that will hold until after April 28th. So you will likely still see your change here, but you likely won't be able to send out a payment until after the go live date. If you are setting up a new payee, you can add popular payees in your area. If you happen to be using a pay or bill pay transaction with one of these conglomerates or utilities, you can actually set up the payee to go directly there. And instead of cutting a check, it will likely go directly to this recipient. If you are entering or want to use bill pay with more of a mom or pop service or more of a mom or pop company, you can definitely do so with this system as well. However, when you hit add, it will likely just let you know that it is sending the information as a check versus an electronic transaction because you will have to detail out all of the rest of the payee's information. In bill pay itself, you can also review your transactions based on the bill pay uh, based on the bill pay transactions that you have initiated. This history option will show your most recent bill pay transactions, and resources will give you access to reports, or you can add a payee in this section as well. You do have the ability to put your payees in categories as well, if that is something that you are currently doing. If your iBusiness banking platform has the capability available, you will see ACH under the money movement section as well. The ACH function will allow you to send funds electronically to a recipient as long as you have their routing number and their full account number for the actual recipient that you're trying to send funds to. If your iBusiness Banking platform is equipped, you will also have the access to collect money using the iBusiness Banking platform. We'll pull funds from that routing and account number into your actual iBusiness Banking platform. Both of these sections are mirrors of each other, so it really just depends on if you're making a payment or collecting money. In the event you are setting up rent payments or anything else like that, where you're pulling, again, funds into your actual business account. Now, again, when you click Money Movement in ACH, it drops you at this Make ACH Payment / Manage Template page. While we are on the topic of templates, if you have current ACH templates with your Macatawa system, those are moving over into the iBusiness Banking platform for you. If you would like to create a new template, you do have the access to do so here under this kind of third option that's tucked in here that says Create a Template. And you can set up brand new templates, but again, it will not likely apply until after April 28th. When creating a template, you can name the template something that you're comfortable with. Choose the request type, whether it be CCD or PPD payment, or if you have one of the tax options in here as well. Company name / ID. You will pick the debit account that is available for you, and then a maximum transfer amount acts as a security ceiling for you. So it will not allow you to overpay any recipient in this amount. Once you have entered the initial information for that template, you will then have to enter the routing and account number for the recipient or recipients. The ABA / TRC is their routing number, their account number. If it is a different account type, you can do that as well. So if you're sending some funds to a savings account or collecting for that matter, the name section takes ampersands or any special characters if you're dealing with another business. And you have a default amount when creating a template. If it is a more recurring payment where the amount does not change, you can enter this default amount here. If it fluctuates between payments where that amount will change, it is more recommended to leave this default amount at 0. I did skip over detail ID because it is truly optional. You do not have to enter anything into this spot to get the transaction out or to actually initiate the ACH or save the template. If you happen to use or put information here, it will reflect on your actual statement. If you would like to add additional entities or recipients to this actual template that you created, you have the availability to do so as well. Right above the blue Save Template button at the bottom left part of the page, there is an Add an Additional Detail row. It will give you the option to add more information as far as another routing number, another account number, change the checking or savings account type again, and then enter a new name for an additional recipient. So if you like to create one big master template with all of your recipients or vendors on it, or you would like to create a collection template with all of the rent for April or all of the rent that will get collected on the 1st versus the 15th, you can create templates simply based on that. You can create one template per vendor as well. There's no kind of right or wrong way to do that particular creation in iBusiness Banking. It is just depending on your comfortability and your organization. There is an additional information section when you are entering the routing and account number for the recipient. This additional information section can be used for any invoice information or any dates particular to that transaction, and we'll travel over with it as well. For the history option under money movement in ACH, you will have the access to pull up your completed ACH transactions. So if you have created a template under make payment or collect money, you have the ability to see all of those completed ACH transactions under money movement in this history tab. While we are on the topic of actually completing an ACH transaction, if you have a template created, for example, under my test template here, you will select the bubble next to the particular template that you've created with all of the recipient's information in it, hit the continue button. You will fill in all of the other information as well. You will need to put in a control amount. And then you will see all of the information for the recipient along with the account number with just the last four digits. If you have sub-users that are creating ACH transactions, this is what they will see as well. They will not be able to see the recipient's full account number. They do have the ability to change the amount as well if needed. As you can see, i-BusinessBanking does keep a variance amount, and it does want the transaction to balance out based on the amount that you enter here and the control amount and the maximum transfer amount. Again, this particular section that you are setting up when you are creating a template won't let you overpay anyone. So it won't let you overpay whatever amount that you put in this particular section here. So if I haphazardly try to pay $3.37 but hit $337, it creates a big variance and i-BusinessBanking will not let you continue forward. Once you do have the proper amounts in this spot and that variance is at zero, meaning the transaction has evened out, you will be able to hit the continue button on your ACH transaction. i-BusinessBanking will walk you through a verify payment section one additional time, show you all of the detailed information that you have entered, and the very last button that you will have to hit is the word transmit. If you have sub users that are doing one half of the transaction, so if they don't have the full approval to actually send the transaction out by themselves, you can set it up to where they will see only submit for approval. If you see both of these options, you do not have to submit for approval. i-BusinessBanking will default with just this section if that is available based on your online security for sending transactions. If you see this transmit button, that is the last button that you will hit to send the transaction out. Once you do so, you will be prompted with a one-time security code where i-BusinessBanking is trying to call or text you. You will select either available option that you would like, whether it be a call to a specific number or you are sending a text message to yourself as well, and you will hit the continue button to proceed. I am not really going to hit continue because I do not want to get yelled at, but you understand the process. Once you have successfully gotten that ACH transaction out, you do then have the availability to see your history under money movement, ACH, and the history tab that sits in the middle of the page. It will allow you to pull in any ACH from any account that you've generated it from, any date type, which is pertinent. I do recommend before you search on this page, always change it to transmit date from these available options. Effective date is the day that the funds should arrive at their destination, depending on the ACH that you have created. Transmit date is the day that you hit that blue transmit button that we just talked about. I only stress that because if your effective date is beyond today's date or the next day, i-BusinessBanking will likely exclude that if you leave this on effective date. It is always highly Recommended to change this to transmit date and let i-BusinessBanking pull in all of your ACH transactions, no matter what date the funds are supposed to arrive. If your i-BusinessBanking platform has the capability, you can upload your ACH transactions under money movement and ACH. You will need a standardized notcha file in order to get this process completed successfully. Once you do have that notcha file created, you will just come to this money movement ACH section, hit upload transactions, go to browse, and pull in your actual ACH file. Once you have successfully done that, you will go to upload file, and i-BusinessBanking will take you directly to file status. If your file rejects, you will have the access to click into the file name to detail out why that ACH or notcha file rejected out. It is highly recommended that if you get this error and an update needs to be made to your file, that your file is regenerated. There's no way in i-BusinessBanking to manually update the file. And in the uploaded files, you do have a history, almost like search option, to view any of the successful or unsuccessful ACH files that you've uploaded. And it gives you that same detailed report. If it is successfully gone through, you will see a confirmed status. If your ACH file has rejected, you will see a rejected status. On this page as well, under uploaded files, you can click into that file name that did go through successfully, scroll down that page, and you do have the access to show all of the transactions in that particular ACH file as well. You will have the access to view your ACH limit, which is maintained on our background here. Over on the far right side of your i-BusinessBanking page, when you hit view your ACH limit, it will detail off your daily limit for ACH funds. When you generate one of these ACH transactions as well, there is a cutoff time in order for the transactions to go out the next business day. You have until 7 p.m. Eastern time in order to create an ACH transaction. Make sure you have hit the transmit button and received all of your approvals in order for the funds to go out the next business day. Again, you have your option to future date any ACH transaction that you may need, and we do also have available same day ACH options. If you have any question regarding the ACH function, please refer to the chat option in this webinar. The wire function under money movement will do something very similar, almost like ACH. However, it is a bit more aggressive, if you will. Once you click money movement and wire, it does immediately walk you through scheduling a wire. So you are setting up a transaction right away. It will give you the option for wire type depending on how your i-BusinessBanking platform is set up. i-BusinessBanking will also only send funds in USD. While you are scheduling this wire, if you would like to create a template from it, you can do so while on this initial page. If you would like to create a template and not send out a transaction at the same time, you can go to money movement, wire, and manage template in the middle of the page as well. Your templates, if they are set up in your wire system, if they are set up in your Macatawa system, if you are using wire templates, those are moving over as well and will be available to you in the i-BusinessBanking platform. If you decide to add a template, you can name the template again, whatever you like. Choose your wire type. Choose the account that the wire funds are going to be coming from. And again, i-BusinessBanking will just remind you that it's in USD. When you hit the continue button, it will then go on to ask for the recipient's information. Because I chose domestic wire, it is asking for an ABA. You will enter that information into this bank ID slot right underneath the ABA section. When you enter that particular information, if you hit the validate option to the far right, it will just save you some time and bring in all of the bank's information attached to that specific routing number. You will then scroll down the rest of the page and fill in all of the recipient's information as well. When it comes to the recipient address, please have a physical address available for that recipient. PO boxes are not allowed to send wire transactions. So if you enter a PO box under this recipient information, your wire will likely be rejected. The additional information section is available for you too if you need any other information to go over with that particular wire transaction. There's also an option when you are creating a wire for adding intermediary information. So if you have wire instructions that have multiple banks listed with the information to send the funds through, i-BusinessBanking will let you do that as well. You want to toggle this button. It will highlight yes, and it will open up additional sections for you to add the additional ABA or routing number. And you have the availability to still hit the validate option with that additional bank, and it will pull in all of the connected information. Once you have entered all of the recipient's information, when you are creating this template, there is a blue button towards the bottom left of the page to add a template. Once you have done that successfully, i-BusinessBanking will give you a confirm message, and your available templates will read here on this page. If you need to edit or update that template, you will simply click on the template name, and there will be edit options or delete options right next to debit information. Once your template is created, you can use one of these two sections for wire via template or wire via multiple template to actually send your wire transaction out. If you choose wire via template, i-BusinessBanking will ask you that template name, again, show you the currency in USD, ask you the amount that you're sending the actual wire out for. You can add additional information for the recipient and even set a frequency. If this is something they should be receiving weekly as far as wire funds, you can do that as well. And then again, i-BusinessBanking will walk you through the actual approval or transmittal process. It works that same way, where you would be presented with the one-time security code, and then you will send your transactions out. Wire via multiple template just gives you the option to use multiple templates at once. So instead of sending out maybe 3 individual wires, you can send out one wire transaction containing all 3 of those wire templates. So then 3 recipients will get those funds. Import wires and file status are almost obsolete for almost everyone. If you are importing wire files, you will come to this section. We will likely create one of these file definitions for you and allow you to import that wire. And then you can review that file status on this page. And the history option, again, gives you the option to see your completed wires. No special date range trick here. You can just search as normal, pulling in the account and the date that you see specific. You can even search by the specific wire type as well. To get a wire transaction out or to get funds for a wire transaction out, you all have until 4:30 p.m. Eastern time in order to actually process wire funds. And again, you can view your wire limit over on the far right, similar to ACH, by clicking the hyperlink here and reviewing your actual daily limit. Please use the available chat option during this webinar for any questions. The last section in i-Business Banking that we're going to go over during this webinar is account services. This will house all of your fraud prevention services. The very first option that will likely be available to everyone is stop payment. You can place a stop payment directly from the i-Business Banking system, whether it be on a single check or a range of checks in the event a book is lost. The second option under account services for fraud prevention is ACH Positive Pay. ACH Positive Pay is the fraud prevention service that monitors all of your electronic debits coming through the i-Business Banking platform, or your actual business checking account, I should say. If in the event, let's say you have a recurring payment with AT&T set up where they just debit funds for a phone bill every month, ACH Positive Pay is going to monitor that process happening and alert you that the transaction is coming through. You will likely be emailed about something called an exception when it comes to Positive Pay. The exception is just referring to a transaction that i-Business Banking wants you to review. If it is regarding ACH Positive Pay, again, those are your electronic debits coming through your account. Once you log into i-Business Banking, go to Account Services and ACH Positive Pay. i-Business Banking will list out all of the detailed transactional information under this section. It will give you the name as far as who is trying to take the funds, the amount, and the reason that you're getting this exception in the first place. If you have just started doing that process where a company will be debiting your actual checking account, you will likely get this first exception, and your reasoning for that exception will be unauthorized company. With the ACH Positive Pay service, if it is active on your i-Business Banking platform, you will have the access to something called your payment rules. So again, if it is a recurring payment for AT&T where they are debiting my business account for a phone bill every month, I am likely going to put them on this payment rules listing. If this is my first time setting up these auto pays with AT&T or allowing them to debit my actual business account, i-Business Banking will walk you through automatically putting that vendor on that payment rules list. And that will be done in this section while you are making a decision to pay or return that specific transaction. So if it is truly something fraudulent, you have the ability to return that electronic debit, and those funds will not be removed from your account. When you are making a decision on this particular vendor, if you are deciding to add them to that payment rules section, it will give you the option to add parameters as well. So if you need to set up a maximum amount, for example, or a specific date, you have the ability to do that as well. So you can say, yes, AT&T could debit my account, but no more than $3,000. I know that's a lot, but just a test. Or I'm going to be working with AT&T, but we're only going to be working until December. You have the ability to set up the vendor with those parameters and not allow them to debit more than they need to. Exception status will give you a detailed report of those decisions that you're making on those said exceptions or transactions. You can pull a detailed report of that information for a specific date range or a specific date, and i-Business Banking will show you all of that detailed criteria. There is a cutoff time for you to make a decision whether to pay or return that ACH transaction. The window will open at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So roughly around that time, you will receive your first email letting you know that you have an actual exception. You will also get a reminder email. If no one has logged in, as far as yourself or any other sub user that would have access to this fraud prevention service, if they have not logged in to review the actual exception, a reminder email will go out as well. You will receive that reminder email at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Please be wary if you happen to use the times on this page. They are accurate. However, these are for your check exceptions. So again, for your ACH exceptions, you have ultimately until 3 p.m. Eastern Time to make a decision on those. If you have missed that cutoff window, please reach out to our Treasury Management support line for your available options on that said transaction. Again, their phone number is 616 494 1455. Now, as I just mentioned before, this particular section is for your check exceptions. What i-BusinessBanking will do is it will not hide any exceptions that you have, whether they be ACH or a positive pay exception, which is monitoring all of your check debits that are coming through your actual business account. Very similar to ACH positive pay, you will get an automated email alert roughly around this time. You will receive an automated reminder email alert at 1 p.m. Eastern if nobody has gone in to actually make a decision. And your ultimate cutoff time is 2 p.m. Eastern. With these check exceptions, you do have the access to view the actual check that is trying to debit your business account. i-BusinessBanking will show a little rectangular icon with almost like a little squiggly line on it. You can click on that particular message and you will see the front and back of the check, or have the option to see the front and back of the check. Along this line as well, you have the option to pay or return the specific item. So if the check looks altered or washed, or the amount is not correct, or it's not a real check for that matter, you have the ability to return that check and for specific reasons during the approval process. With check positive pay, i-BusinessBanking does need the check information that is being cut from the actual business account prior to the checks clearing the actual business account. There are two ways to get i-BusinessBanking all of the checking information. You can enter issues or voids, which is more manual, meaning you can take one check or issue as i-BusinessBanking refers to it. I cut the check from this account. This is the check number. This was the amount. I cut or issued the check on this date, and this is the payee. If you have this particular function, you do want to make this payee line exactly how it looks on the actual check. All spaces, punctuation marks, any ampersand with business name, you want to include that there. If you have mailing checks and they have maybe an address, you can add an additional payee line here as well, where you can give i-BusinessBanking all of the information that it will read on that line. If it is maybe more than one check, you can check off this sequential entry box as well, hit continue, and i-BusinessBanking will automatically set up the next check number for you. So all you have to do is enter the information. The second way to get i-BusinessBanking the information of your checks is import issues. This particular section will allow you to import a generated check file containing all of your check information, meaning the date of the check, the payee name, the check number, and the amount that you've given to that particular payee. You can generate all of that in almost an Excel or CSV file or a text file and import that into i-BusinessBanking. The way that we would do that is using one of these file definitions. Again, it's under account services, positive pay, and import issues. With these specific file definitions, This will tell iBusinessBanking how to read your file and pull in all of the needed information for the checks that you are cutting. If you have a file definition in your Macatawa system based on the actual file that you are generating with your check information, those are not traveling over. And you will need to recreate those file definitions to map out how the check information is listed in your check file. Once you have your detailed check file and your file definition created, which you can do by hitting this button here for add a file definition. If you need assistance as to what to click in this particular section based on your particular file, that can be done and your file can be tested as well. And this is the section that you would go to create that actual file definition. You will only need to do that one time. After creating that file definition, it will hold under this import issues option and read amongst this list of available file definitions. After you've done that, for example, you will click on your actual file definition that you created. You will not click Format A. You will hit Continue, and you will hit Browse to pull in your actual check file. Once you have the file here ready to import, you will hit Import File, and it will read a specific message letting you know that the file has been taken successfully. Please go to File Import Status to review the file. That is exactly how the message will read, and File Import Status will be hyperlinked. Please, please, please click on File Import Status. After you've hit this import file, you want to go and review to make sure that the actual file has been taken successfully and completed with no errors or notes. Once you click on that file import status message, after you've hit import file on this page, iBusinessBanking will take you directly to that information. If you have skipped that section and need to go back to it, it is totally okay. Under account services, positive pay and import issues, there is a hyperlink that says view the status of files imported in the last 40 calendar days. This is the more manual way to double check that your actual file went through successfully. If your check file has been imported successfully, it will read under this particular section along this line just as text and with a status of completed in the far right. If it completes with errors or notes, it is not the worst thing in the world. iBusinessBanking will allow you to click into the file name to see exactly what the errors or notes are. If it just rejected the file, it will read a status of rejected here as well. Once you have successfully imported your file, if you need to update or change any of the information on one of the check lines, you do not have to import an entirely new file. If iBusinessBanking has taken that successfully, you can actually go to Update Issues, search for the specific check information that you've just given iBusinessBanking. You do want to change this include from exception items to outstanding issue items and hit the continue button down towards the bottom left. If you have the specific check number, you can do that as well, and the report will pull up just that specific check. In this section, again, under account services, positive pay, and update issues, you can fix the date, the payee name, the amount, or even the check number for that particular matter if something needs to be altered after you have successfully given iBusinessBanking that information. Exception decision is a report for you, and it will allow you to see the actual exception decision that you've made on those said exceptions that you get. Now, because you're giving iBusinessBanking the check information under either enter issues or import issues, you should only be receiving exceptions when something is truly wrong or different on the actual check. And again, if you want to see a detailed report of those exceptions that have come through, you can use exception to decision. Outstanding issue items will show all of the checks information that iBusiness Banking has, and those check issues have not cleared the actual business account yet. Stale issues will give you that same search criteria. iBusiness Banking considers a check stale after 180 business days or after 180 days. I'm sorry. If you do have a check that is clearing after that time, you will receive an automatic exception. Issue/void status will show you all of the check information iBusiness Banking has, whether the check is outstanding, whether it has cleared and been paid already, whether it has been returned, or whether you have let it auto return. For the security of both of these services, whether it be ACH Positive Pay or Positive Pay, if no user has logged in to make a decision on these items by the cutoff times specific to these services, the transactions will return for your safety. For any question regarding this webinar, you do want to refer to the actual webinar chat. There will be a mobile app specific and allowing you to do most of the functions that we went over today in iBusiness Banking. Again, if you make any alteration or change during the preview period, it will not be applied until after April 28th. For any assistance, please reach out to 616-494-1455. Thank you so much for attending this webinar and have a great day.